Hi guys, this is NL Arrowsmith bringing you another commentary today. I'm going to fast forward for the first few minutes. I'll explain why. What we're doing is we're doing the Headquarters Comeback Challenge, as you'll see in the title. You'll get the idea. I don't want to give away too much. Obviously, it's a comeback video, so there's not too much for you to figure out already. But the first few minutes are very slow. And you'll see why. But what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to tell you what's going on during the video. And at the same time, I'm also going to give a few tips on how to improve your Call of Duty game. Because I get a lot of people messaging me, asking me, what should I do? How does your team do this? How do you guys pull this off? So I'm going to just give you a few tips on how maybe you and your entire team can improve, or how you can improve your own game. It shouldn't be much longer now until we can actually play the video through. As you can see on Headquarters, the score now, they've got 195. You do need 250 points to win a Headquarters game if you don't already know. When you've got a Headquarters captured, you get 5 points. I'll play it now. What you can see is we've killed the entire enemy team right about now. That's the entire enemy team dead, and we're controlling how many points we get now. We're waiting. Takes a few more seconds. We're waiting for someone to get here, and we let them get 245 points and try to make the comeback. 245 points away from winning. 245 points out of the 250, so they're close to winning, and then we try to make the comeback. All they need to do is capture another Headquarters to win. That's all they have to do. We still have to capture and hold the Headquarters for another 250 points. That's the challenge. I definitely recommend doing this with your team. Stuff like this is very fun to do with a team because it mixes things up. You're not just playing Call of Duty, just going through it, joining a game, killing a few people, going out of it. You're actually doing something different. It's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend, if you have a team to do this sort of stuff with, definitely do it. Set your team a challenge and go for it. I think this one, with the players that we have now, we have NL Funk, Magix, me, NL Nixon, NL Spout, and NL Eggy. With these players, we got it first try. We did try it a few times with other players, but that just wasn't working. So we got some of his top guys on, and we went for it, and we managed to get it first time. As you can see, the first Headquarters has been captured there already, so that's 5 points to us. 6 minutes on the clock. I think it does get quite close. But as you can see, a lot of teamwork. We've got sentry guns down. Everyone's near the Headquarters. And this is the first tip. Communication. Everyone, anyone you ask, anyone who knows what they're talking about, when you ask them, how can your team improve and play better, the first thing everyone will always say is communication. So you're shouting out, well, not shouting out, you're calling out, you're telling them where they are. You know, say if someone come around that corner, I'd say bottom orange, or I'd say if someone comes to my right, I'd say ambulance. They're on the Headquarters, you know. People are telling me where they are, so I know where these guys are. My teammates are picking them up as well. Very, very important as a team to make sure you're calling out. So that is the first thing. The second thing I'd say to improve your own game, just you to improve, is don't be afraid to do all this stuff like jumping. Don't be afraid when you're shooting someone to jump at them. I know people are like, oh my god, it's so sweaty, you're jumping at them. Screw those people. I guarantee you'll have the bragging rights when you're the one that's top of the leaderboard because you're outgunning them, because they can't land the shots, because you're jumping around or whatever. Always, 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 always do that, because there's a lot of people who just walk around like these guys who are just stood there, and they just get picked up because they are just stood there. That is all they're doing. Don't ever just stand there. At the very minimum, strafe. Just move side to side. Don't just stand there like a wally and get gunned down. Don't do that, because it doesn't benefit you at all. It just makes it easier for the people on the other team. In fact, I think there's a great example of this coming up in a minute, where they just stand there, and if you jump, they just can't deal with you. Here it is. I can see these guys coming. There's one. I'm actually damaged. Jump out. The guy's just stood there, and I take him out. That there is a perfect example of why you should do it. So don't be afraid to do all that stuff where you're jumping around the corners. Make sure you do that, because it's very, very useful. Just makes you that bit harder to kill, and it startles the enemy. They're not sure what to do. can easily make more kills there. So, like I say, always do that. As you can see, I go down here with 20 seconds left on the clock, unfortunately. Still have some teammates up there already. I'm not sure if they actually managed to get this headquarters offers. I think they might do, but it's very last second. But another thing to do is always, this one frustrates me, always play off of your radar. So many people just ignore the minimaps. My girlfriend, for example, she's played Call of Duty in first-person shooters well, not for a very long time, but like a year or so, maybe a little bit longer. And she's always like, why can't I do it? Why can't I get these kill streaks? Why can't I get a high KD? Because she doesn't play off the radar, and it's extremely frustrating. When I see people ignoring the radar, just running around, you can see someone behind them, you can see it coming, like, dude, you're about to get shot in the back, turn around. How do you know? It's on the map. Oh, look at this bit. Get shot in the back, 3 of us turn around and drill him. That guy didn't know what he was getting in for. That was a very funny bit. That was a bit of a highlight of this match for me. He jumps out, and everyone's like, it's behind us. 3 of us, me, Spow, and Magic's thing it is, just jumped, turned around, and just annihilated him. But yeah, always play off your radar. Look, I can see there's 2 guys to my right. I know where they are. I know there's a guy down here. He's moved now. See, I know exactly where he is. Always play off your radar. You can keep track of them. You know where everyone's going to be. Unfortunately, I do choke it here because one of my most hated things, you'll see that in just a second. This is how I get taken off of my streak in a minute. C4. Hate the stuff. Oh, goodness, C4. Not a friend of mine, C4. As you can see, 175 to 245. Excuse me, I'm going to have to clear my throat a second. Starting to get a good few points. We're coming back. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. So I'll go over what I've said too far. I'll go over what I've said so far, sorry. Make sure you play as a team. You're communicating. Communication, number 1 most important thing. Number 2, make sure you're maneuvering around the map in a way that makes it difficult for your enemies to see, to make the shots. Jumping around, drop shotting if you need to. A lot of people don't drop shot anymore because it's a bit more difficult on this game. It's a bit slower. But just make sure you're doing those sort of things. Number 3, play off of your radar. Always, always, always play off of your radar. And I'll go straight into another one now. Number 4, class setups. A lot of people like to experiment with these other guns. Just using other things just to see what they're good at, when they might already have a gun. I'll give you an example. I know I can use the AN-94 and the M8 very, very well. But for a little bit, what I did was I was like, right, I'm going to use some other guns. I'm going to use the Chicken. I'm going to use the PDW. I'm going to use the MTAR just to see if any of those was as good. And my KD started to drop because I was using guns I wasn't already good with. If you know what you can use and you want that high KD, don't do what I did and be a dumbass and try to experiment with other stuff. You don't need to if you already know what you're good at with. Stick with what you know. Make sure you keep at it. You can improve even more. Make sure you've got those good class setups, okay, guys? As you can see, 235 now. We do make the last few points, as you can see. We've got this on lockdown, sentry turrets, guardians everywhere. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think makes you a better player. Give me some of your tips. Make sure you check out the Twitter and the website. They'll be in the description below. Keep on coming back, guys, and enjoy your Call of Duty.